revolution, you can relate that to, for example, energy being taken from coal and the steam engine. That led to establishments of factories. And what are the factories, and how do those factories resemble the topic which you are talking about today? So there was a system where there was a mass assembly of stuff, and the end product was a vehicle or whatever was manufactured. So similar to that, schools were established, which now they were brick and mortar, and knowledge in books, and there was a production line starting from class 1 to class 2 to class 12 and so on until you came to the university. So this mass production of people like you and me with improved intellect started happening. So that was a major revolution, and it started, and knowledge was dissipated into people. But then since the internet, it was available in the air, and it was very current available in the air. For example, today, if I were to read any book other than philosophy will never age. So I am still reading, for example, you may not have known the philosopher Bertrand Russell. I was reading his book, his e-book really, on my e-book, Problems in Philosophy. So those philosophical issues never get old. But all knowledge other than that has been progressed upon. Everything becomes stale. Even our textbooks. And I am surprised that there is less realization with the Arbab-e-Ikhtiyar or the government in Pakistan about this fact, that textbooks, you decide on a textbook. It's been a year since the government of Pakistan and the Ministry of Education is trying to come over a consensus syllabus, at least of 70% consensus syllabus, and once the syllabus is decided, it will be, then the lessons will be put in, and the curriculum decided, the lessons will be put in, and it will go into printing, and this whole cycle would have taken 3 years or 4 years. And by the time the textbook is there, that knowledge which is being imparted to the class 1 or a class 3 or 4 may not change too much, but the ability to communicate keeps on changing. And I've seen that, and you've seen that in your life, that a good teacher is able to communicate well, sometimes with images, sometimes with his gestures, and sometimes following a logical platform. I don't remember right now, but there was a thinker, a lateral thinker, whom I used to follow. This is about 20-30 years ago, lateral thinking. In fact, the term lateral thinking came up from him. And he was very good in his presentations, and he had an overhead projector. And he also, in fact, he spoke on Pakistan television also in 1980 or whatever. I'm forgetting his name. But he was a very good communicator, and his flow of thoughts went into diagrams which he was drawing at the same time as he was speaking. So communication is a science which also has improved over time. So imagine the textbooks, where by the time they will be printed of 8th and 9th, they will be old. There will be immediate need for revision. At the same time, what you are talking about right now is so important that I have tried that, experimented that in my own constituency. And what I did, I was fascinated by the Khan Academy, as some of you would know that. And I picked up some lessons from them. I have always been interested in maths, but I did not pick that up in my intermediate and in my later life. So I wanted to learn calculus. And this is a story of maybe by itself is about 8 or 10 years old story. And I wanted to learn calculus, and I went to the Khan Academy, kept on learning, had problems, but then went back and kept on doing that. So the ability to be able to, or in Pakistan, to be able to do that, to go back and do it on his own time with the same kind of attention as a teacher would give, that is a tremendous improvement and change in a system. So what I did was, in Hijrat Colony, which is my constituency in Karachi, I gave students, there was a group of 30 students, 40 students who got admission in class 1. And with 20 of them, I gave them, through a sponsor, I gave them a pad to start learning. And these were the students who came in from scratch. They had no idea about knowledge at all. And the 20 went into the system as regular students. And by the end of the year, we found there was a tremendous difference between those who were given a pad to learn and those who were in the regular, either it was a rote learning system or whatever. There was a tremendous difference between both of them. This is exactly what I mean for everybody, for every level of understanding. This is exactly what I mean. Now, throughout the world, for example, for every system, human society interrelates with people. So for every system, what has happened is, there was a manufacturer or an artist or a person who was making some good, and there was a buyer. As long as it's a small community or a village, it doesn't really matter. It is very easily done, whatever, something is cooked and it is given, and the village is very small. But as communication, not communication in the air yet, as communication, as like the Silk Road and physical communication started happening, goods were moved from areas of scarcity to areas, from areas where they were abundant to areas of scarcity, and that is what happened. This is the information system now taking over from information from somewhere else, where there was a surplus of information can be of goods, and where there was a dearth of goods. So that was happening. What has been done today, for example in Amazon or by Alibaba or whatever, is there is immediate movement of link between the manufacturer and the seller at the retail level, and then movement of physical goods. And it has taken up everything up by storm. The world has changed. Every good is being moved. In fact, drones are being used to be able to move goods. But the same thing, because we need it, we have learned the simple steps of going on to a screen and maybe touching something and buying something and getting pictures of something.